So we are in a dark time. Just like I have had to accept my own death, it is time for us as people in the Western world to recognize that our actions have led us into a deadly place. We now have leaders who say that the environment has not been affected by the things we have done, who say that everything that is happening now is quite normal. And it is normal. In the same way that a person who smokes, and I hope I'm not offending anybody who smokes here, I'm just using this as an example. I certainly don't want to make you feel guilty about your habits, because then you have ground to make me feel guilty about mine, no matter how secret I keep them from you. But I just want you to think about the cause and effect relationship. Everybody knows now that secondhand smoke causes cancer. So it is creating a problem for the lung. And the lung is what turns the outside air into the inside fuel that makes all of our life possible. And we breathe it out and we breathe it in. But our lungs deteriorate when we stress them with tobacco smoke. So the earth has a lung. It has an apparatus for processing molecules which make life possible. And if you build smokestacks everywhere, if you put car exhaust pipes everywhere, that air recycling system is going to be influenced. You don't have to put the smoke directly on them. It's the secondhand smoke that is dangerous. All to say that we live in terrible times because of our decisions. And while I was thinking about this, the name of René Descartes came to my mind, as René Descartes' name often comes to my mind, because he's such a key person in the unfolding of what is happening now. He was one of the foundation layers. Just like the Apostle Paul was the foundation layer for our story, Descartes was the foundation layer for the story that is now devastating the earth and its peoples. And the phrase that I have in my mind from René Descartes is, so that we might become the lords and masters of nature. So at that point in our history, human beings decided that they were going to get rid of nature. It was another man named Thomas Hobbes who said, so that the artificial will in all ways replace the natural. I don't have to give you examples of that. Every indigenous people on the earth adapted to its environment and prospered for thousands of generations. We, modern people, are the only ones who said we refuse to adapt to our environment. We are going to make the environment conform to our desires. We made ourselves to be like gods. And at first there was a great flush of excitement when we began to see the wonders that we were capable of. But now we recognize, now we must recognize that we were misled, that we have been following a bad idea. Now I want to speak to you a little bit about the text from Mark. Because it's in Mark that we find an avenue of hope as we seek the way forward. And I'm speaking in a particular way as we seek the way forward as the elders in the lives of the generation now emerging and the generations yet to come. May I quote the Cree people again? Wise people, not just the Cree, but indigenous people everywhere. Live not for this moment that you inhabit, but live for the influence you will have on the 7th generation. What will the planet look like in 7 generations?